Are you ready to eat?
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Mennonite Farmhouse. I'm Leanne, and if you're new to my channel, I do cooking and baking from scratch, canning, and dehydrating videos. If that interests you, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload my next video. And I'll be glad to have you. Today we are making a Pennsylvania Dutch dish called ham balls. I have leftover ham in the refrigerator, and in the 6.5 years I've been married to my husband, I've never made him a ham loaf, which is one of his favorite meals. So we're going to change that tonight and take you along as I make ham balls for the first time. And I know my husband's excited for this one. So let's get started, shall we? To make the ham balls, you're going to need 1 pound of hamburger and 1 pound of ham, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 eggs, 1 cup of breadcrumbs, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of ground mustard, and 3/4 of a cup of milk. To start, we're going to place our raw hamburger in a nice large bowl. Next, I'm going to chop the ham into smaller pieces in order to put it into the food processor to mince it up. I thought about using the KitchenAid meat grinder attachment, but I was thinking, how many people actually have one of those? You can also use a blender to chop this up. And when you put it in the food processor, I found it very handy just to use the pulse function, where it will make the meat jump up in the air and bring it back down on the blades, where if you just had it spinning around, it might just clump up and not do anything. So just pulse it a few times and your meat will be the consistency that you like. Then you want to add your ham to the hamburger. Then we're going to add our eggs, and I like to crack them in a separate bowl just because they're like chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. Then we're going to place the rest of the ingredients in the bowl with the meat, starting off with the eggs, the breadcrumbs, the brown sugar, and you want to smack that bottom if it don't come out of the measuring cup, and the salt, and the 2 tablespoons level of dried mustard powder. Then you want to add your milk. Then you want to mix it all together like you would a meatloaf with your hands. And with traditional meatballs, I usually soak my breadcrumbs in the milk about 10 minutes before I mix it all together. But this night, since my husband was already home, I was in a hurry and I messed that stuff up. So if you like to try that, go ahead. It is wonderful. The meatballs are very moist that way. Then you want to grease your pan generously. Then using a large scooper, we're going to shape meat into balls, and we're going to fill this whole pan. It makes about 30 balls. Now to prepare the sweet and sour sauce, we're going to add 1/3 cup of water, 1/2 cup of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of dried mustard powder, and 1 cup of brown sugar. You want to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to pour this over halfway through the baking of the ham balls. And if you want to kick it up a notch, add 1/2 cup of crushed pineapple with the juice. And this sauce is basically a sweet and sour sauce. And give it a good stir to dissolve the brown sugar, and then I've left it come to a boil. And I don't think you have to boil it that long. no more than maybe 5 minutes. The ham balls need an hour and a half to bake. So halfway through, I would pour the sauce over them just because that first 40 minutes, I wanted them to get a nice shell on them so they have some crust. So now we're going to pour the sauce on and bake them for another 50 minutes. Well, you ready to eat?
Yeah.
I think the syrup might need to stop boiling first. I would let it rest 5 minutes at least. But it's Handball City coming up.
Yeah.
I already got the fork for you. It's not going to bite you.
Hey, camera it is. Very good. I'm gonna need more than one now.
We sat down and I served it over homemade, homegrown mashed potatoes, and it was so very good. Thanks so very much for stopping by the farmhouse today, and if you made it this far into the video, I'm sure you're loving the content of this channel. May I suggest you watching this next? Thank you, take care, and God bless.